Right, we're ready with the technology now. I just wanted to say a few words before I got into the small presentation. I wanted to do a couple of thank yous in case they're forgotten at the end of the evening and we all had too much to drink. One is the committee, the brand committee, a small committee. We're a small club, but the work they've got through, and they've taken us through some difficult times, and when you think of it, it's 100 years that the club is now celebrating, so that is a massive achievement in my opinion as such. And also there's the printers. Candle printers have done an awful lot of work to help us with the setup. You see there's boards out there which show, I hope everybody can see themselves on the boards, etc. And that's another big thank you, because I think they've been very generous in the way they've helped the club with that. Most of the other thank yous have been given, so now I'm just going to have a little ramble through one or two of my memories and little bits about the club and some musings which I hope you'll find interesting, and I'll try not to bore you. Okay, the first slide there is, as you can see, we're celebrating our 100 years, and the shirt on the back with number 52 on, the relevance of that is, and I've heard a few people say, well, that must be his age. And I wish it was. It recognises that 52 years I've been involved with this club, and I'm very proud and pleased to have been part of its history. Okay, Steve? Right. Now, this is something new. This is just breaking news. We just had it in from Sky Sports as such, and they've introduced this new presidential league table, and they're trying it out with local clubs. Unfortunately, we are one of the clubs that are getting the first opportunity to have a President's League table. Now, you won't believe it, but if you look at the table, who's top of the league? Wow. So it just shows you the influence we have with Sky. Right now, I'm just going to talk a bit about my time with the club, a little bit of history. That picture on the right, that's George Davidson, the chairman at the time, and we are being presented with the second division trophy. So as Dave mentioned earlier, I've been a player, committee member, coach, manager, and president, and 18 years as the president, and I can't believe I've done that, but I'm very pleased that Dave asked me in the first place to do that. Played the first match in 1965 and was quite a regular all through that period, and the reason was a gap in my last match in 1987 where our goalkeeper wasn't available. We were playing Jims, the league champions at the time, and we did lose 2-0, but that was my last match for the club, and I played a total of 333 matches for the club. Almost wishing I could play a few more, but I've had to give up that thought. As I say, 18 years as president, so that's a little bit of the history. Okay, Steve? And now a little bit of some of the things we did. Really, I'm talking more about the 1970s as such. So I was captain of the team that won the Division 2 in 1973-74, played in the team that were promoted in 1976-77, and also won the Woods Cup that year, the first time the Braddon had won the Woods Cup. I've got a little story to tell about that later. Dave will love me for this one, but I'll come back to that. I played in and managed the team that got promoted in 1978-79 and got to the Railway Cup semi-final, Hospital semi-finals that year, which is a big achievement for the club. And then I managed the team that won the Division 2 in 1984-85 and stayed in the Division 1 up to 1998. So that's just a little snapshot of my playing involvement with the club. Okay, Steve? Right, this is some board we have here. This is what we call the 300 Club. And all these... Okay, calm down. Now, anybody who's on that board should be very pleased with themselves, because obviously they've played at least 300 matches for the club, and I think the noise is coming from one or two of the lads who recognise they're on the actual leaderboard. But there's a bit more to it than that, because you can see our chairman, 447, and I knew he wanted to be top of the league, and I've heard rumours that he's been talking to Will on numerous occasions to see if he can get a couple of subs appearance to go top of the table and retire on that. Is that right, Will?
That's exactly right. We'll give him a go.
Okay, Steve. So anyway, the guys around obviously recognise themselves on that, and it's a good. It's amazing. We have the players who played 300 matches for us, and there's quite a few just below that. And also the records, we couldn't go back far enough to make sure that those records are totally accurate, but the numbers on the board are spot on. Okay, we mentioned how the club started off, and the Lucas's Laundry. They helped the club. The players used to go to the matches in the back of the van, and we were known as the Laundrymen. And one of the reasons we were known as the Laundrymen was that we were always the cleanest club on the field. We also became known as the Swans. And I'd like to mention this because Neil Ardner's with us, and Neil's dad designed the actual trophy, and it's good to see Neil here. The badge, sorry for that. And the other little story behind it is the family became known as the Swans because the reporters used to come down, and one came down pretty early that day for the match. And so to fill in times, he walked up and went round the dam, and he's seen some ducks, he's seen some moorhens, and he's seen some swans. I think we've all got to be pleased he decided to call us the Swans, not the ducks. Right, this one is a mixed slide, but I want to talk about it in a little bit of detail because the pitch, the ground in Cronkburn was, I can remember so many matches around there. It was such a scenic place. It was not like any other ground on the island. We were surrounded on three sides by water, as such, and it was such. If there wasn't a match on, you could have gone down there on a picnic on the pitch. It was that sort of place, and I played most of my matches on that pitch, and it's a credit to the club. We're here for 72 years on that total on that ground, which is, and again, another record I would think, when you look about it. Also, things you don't know about perhaps, but down at that ground, because we were surrounded by three rivers, two rivers and a dam, the Manchester Athletic Club used to hold a cross-country run down there as such. And it became very popular, so they had a class for non-athletic clubs in amongst the professional runners. And the top team at the time were Russian United, who were very fit, Gareth Jones, and a lot of the lads were really quick. But on, I think, the third occasion they ran it, Bran actually won the trophy, so we won a cross-country trophy as a football team. And I just happened to see that Johnny Mills is somewhere in the room. You here, Johnny? There he is. Now, Johnny, I'll be honest, he wasn't the best footballer, but by God... What do you mean? But by God, he could run. And he ran every race, he led for the team, and he played a big part in us winning that trophy. So, thank you, Johnny. Now,
38 goals one season. Great.
Would you like the microphone, Johnny? No? Now, the other part of that, I mentioned the club had been there for 72 years. I played some matches on there. We've heard about the amazing match when we beat Peel. Such a Dave kindly mentioned that. And the other picture on the right is Artie Cooley. And Artie's here tonight with Viv, just sitting here. And Artie was made captain for that day. We were playing Jims, and Jims were the top team in our division at that time. And we actually won the match 2-0. And I want to mention that Artie has been a credit to Brandon Football Club. He's been a gentleman, the way he played his football. He was just something different. And you may also have noticed that on all the team photographs, he's the one with the neat haircut. So I think I would like, if we could just give Artie a round of applause for his services to the club. Now I said I was going to mention the chairman again as such, and if you look at the photograph top left, that's the Woods Cup winning team as such. I can see Stuart on that photograph as well. We'll know, and well, the fellow I'm not allowed to call Tammy was on there, Ernie Russell, myself, and Artie was on there obviously. But why I wanted to mention it was, there's one strange thing the chairman, but he wasn't the chairman then, but then he was the only one there in an overcoat. And I thought, well, why are the other kids all in blue and he's in an overcoat? Anyway, we found out later that David had a slight knock to his leg and he decided to treat himself. And he unfortunately had the setting of the heater on the wrong way, so he ended up with a rather burnt, sunbent leg, which stopped him from playing in the final, which is most unfortunate.
Eddie Russell told me what. No, I obviously picked the wrong one.
So it was a special place, the pitch. It was sheltered as such. We played so many matches when lots of matches were cancelled. As I said, it was. I'll always remember it, and it's just a shame now to see it covered in concrete. It is an absolute, when you walk down there now and you see it, and it's just terrible, terrible. So I've talked about that, and I'd just like to move on and say that for me it's been a privilege. The club I've been a president, and I hope I'll be asked again to stay on while I'm around. This last slide here is, I've called it the Yo-Yo Club. And you can see by the graph that the club has a history of being promoted, being relegated, being promoted, and all the way through. And that it's gone on, and some of it's been due to players coming, players going. But through the committee and Will and John, we've now got a junior setup which has become very strong and has got us promoted out to the second division.
Premier League.
Premier League. And I'm hoping that change in tactics and strategy with the work they're doing, it will stop the club being a yo-yo club and will become a permanent club in the Premier League. So that's it from me. I'm just delighted to be here, and I can see from everybody else we're having a really good time. And it's 100 years. I won't see the next one, but I'm glad to see this one.
Brilliant, thank you, Matt.